Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jenaya Devan. I want to thank you all for attending our quarterly partner call. Just some general housekeeping and session logistics. We will be recording this session today. We will also provide that recording for you via email follow-up. The icons at the bottom of the slide deck will allow you to adjust your sound, participate in question and answers, and also contribute to the discussion on Twitter at ScribeSoft, hashtag data integration, and at which point you can also download a copy of the slide deck for your own review. Just to keep it to close to an hour, 45 minutes, you may submit questions at any time, but we will answer all of the questions at the conclusion of the presentation. So today's agenda will include a product update from Paul Varley, a sales and marketing update from myself, Jenaya Devan, an MVP program update from Ryan O'Connell, and an update on our new ISV partners from Lynn Harrington. So Paul, with that being said, I will pass the torch over to you for your product update.
Great, thanks Jenaya. Hello everyone. And we're going to jump in here and talk about a release that's coming up in just a few weeks. It's a new release for Scribe Online called the Granite release. And the thing that you really need to know, and all of our users need to know with this release, is that not only is it a new release of our HTML5 interface that we pioneered last fall, it's also the end of the classic release. So in the sense it's an end of an era, if you will. I think we introduced Scribe Online about 6 years ago with the classic interface. And with this Granite release, that will be no longer available. And really, there's no need for it anymore, I think is the bottom line, and the reason that we're doing that. Because the features that you may still be using in the classic interface are there in Granite. So you really don't need to go back to the old any longer. And I'll show you some of those. I'm going to give a demonstration after we go through this slide. But it's all the things that all of our partners and customers have said that they needed and the reasons that they go back to classic. Things like exporting only certain maps in a solution, cut, copy, and paste in the map editor, reassigning blocks, exporting execution history. If you own your own connectors in the marketplace, you used to have to go back to the classic UI to do that. There's a handful of others, but that's all now available, or will be, I should say, with the Granite release in the new interface. The target date that we're working for right now is April 3rd. So that means really just a little over 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks from now, we'll be releasing that over the weekend like we normally do, and then general availability that Monday morning. And there's also a blog that has all the details. So if you're hearing this for the first time, or if this is news to you and you want to share it with your colleagues or with customers that you think might be interested, a great way to do that is to just share the blog. And as Jenaya said, these slides will be available, the recording will be available afterwards. So, and you can easily find it if you just go to blog.scribesoft.com. It's right there. It says, Granite release, and you can go ahead and share that with colleagues. Okay, so let me just give you a quick demo. Let me fire up my screen sharing here, and I can show it to you in the browser here. Okay, so in a moment you should be seeing my screen with the familiar Scribe Online interface. I think it's giving me a green light now, so I'm hoping that everyone's seeing that.
Yeah, looks like it's moving now.
Great, excellent. So I'll just go ahead. The first thing you'll notice when you look at the org menu at the top, there's a new option here called View All Organizations. So this is one thing that you probably remember from the classic interface if you've used that very much. And so this is a screen where you can see a quick status on all of the organizations that you belong to. If you belong to a parent org, you would see all the child orgs, or even just for normal orgs, you're going to see all the complete list. And if you happen to belong to a lot of them, we do have filters in here. So you might want to say, I only want to look at those orgs that are having a system failure right now. Well, I can set that filter and it will narrow it down to just that selection. It's a good way to zero in on the orgs that you're interested in. Likewise, there's a filter for the name. So if you were looking for a particular customer in a long list, you could type the name in here and make sure I spell it right, and it would pull that one up for you. Okay. So with that, I'll go on and we'll talk a little bit about the solution sorting and filtering that's available. Okay, so just as you've got that all org screen with the ability to filter and sort there, likewise on the dashboard and on the solutions page, you'll notice that these filters are here as well. You can filter by name, by service, so if I wanted to only look at the replication service solutions that I have, I could do that. And then same thing on the solutions page. You're going to have those there as well. And if I go into a map, you'll start to see some of the other things that that I mentioned in the beginning there. So, you know, for example, if you want to export just some of the maps in a solution, some people have lots and lots of maps, dozens in some cases. There might be only one or two maps that you need to change, that you want to export, modify, re-import, or move into a different organization. So we now have these check boxes on the left that allow you to select a certain subset of the maps. And under the hamburger menu, we've got a couple of new options here. You see Export Selected, which allows me to export just those particular maps that I have. Or I can also lock and unlock selected maps. So if you want to prevent anyone from making changes, or anyone who's not an admin really, from making changes to the maps that you've created, you can lock those. You can also unlock those from the hamburger menu. You can enable and disable a subset of the maps by selecting them all and choosing from the menu here. And then we also have the gear menu down here, which allows you to do not only export of an individual map or disable, but also you can duplicate a map and get a copy of it if you want to work on a copy of one of your maps. That's very easy to do now. Now, the other thing I wanted to show is under the execution history, we've also got some new features there. Of course, I need an org that has some execution history, or a solution that has something going on here. So I'm going to look for one that has some history in it. So you can see that if I put the mouse over the error message, it's going to show me that in a tooltip. But not only that, I can also copy it over here, copy the error, and that's going to put it in the buffer so I can go to my text editor and paste it out, or go to email. And if I want to email it to somebody, I can just use that copy error. And then under View Statistics, I think this was a fatal error on the run, so I'm not going to see the information here. But under Details, if I had row-level errors, it's going to show me the details of that, and likewise I can copy and paste that as well. So it really gives you an easy way to get that information out of the product. So that's execution history. Let's look. I'm going to switch orgs here for a moment, and then we'll look at some of the map level features that we've added. So I'm going to go to a different org and drill into a map that has at least a half a dozen blocks in it. This will be easier to show if I do that. And first thing I want to show you is you can now select more than one block at a time. So if I click on this Create CRM Lead block, and then I hold the Shift key and click on a block higher up, it should select everything. Not sure why it's not doing it for me, but there we go. So now I've got the whole if-else block selected, and in the gear menu, if I say copy, I can go over here and I can do a paste, and it's going to paste that entire block. This works not only within a map, but also across maps. So it stays in the copy buffer. If I were to cancel out of here and open a different map, I would be able to then paste that block into a different map, and it even works across organizations. So if I'm working on a map, say in a test org, and I want to copy out some logic that I've built, I can go ahead and use the org picker to choose a different org and paste that right into a different one as long as I belong to it. And then it'll allow me to sync up the connections and whatnot that I need there. Okay, I'm going to go back to that other map that I was just looking at the first time and show you a few other things that we've done. We've now got the ability to change the block operation. So if I wanted to change the update, let's say to a create or a lookup or a delete, I would just use that gear menu to choose the block type, change block type feature. Of course, I can rename. And one other thing that's a little bit subtle but is useful when you're working with formulas, we've always had the ability to change the block label, right? That's always been there, but we also now have the ability to change the block name, which is the reference that we use in formulas. So if you wanted to change this to something that you want to see in formulas, you could add a number here or whatnot, and that's going to change the block label so that when I'm referring to it in a formula, I can see that. That's now editable. What else? Oh, there's the ability to reassign connections. So if I wanted to change this to a different connection, I can do that from the gear menu on the left. And we've also added preview to fetch blocks. So if I add a fetch block here and I choose an entity, let me just use, I'm actually going to use the other fetch block instead. This has better entities. So if I use the other fetch block and I say, let's say I choose contacts, and then when I open that block up, there's now a preview tab here, and it will load the preview results into the block or into the window, just like you'd expect to see in a query block. You're probably familiar with that already. Mm-hmm. It's helpful when you're setting up your filters to determine whether the filter that you created is really going to get back the results that you wanted. You don't have to actually run the map. You can see the preview in the window now. So that's a cool feature. And I should note that these are all things that we've done based on your feedback and the things that you found most important. Some of them are features that we've known about for a long time, and they just didn't make it into the Crystal release. But of course, we've planned all along to have them here. But I think you'll see that as we go through all these capabilities, we've really reached that point where you really don't need the classic UI anymore. It's you're able to do the things that you need to do in the new UI. All right, so let's move on. There's a handful of other things. I know I don't want to take up too much time, but we've got some new features under lookup tables as well. So it used to be that when you created a lookup table, even in the classic UI, if you wanted to update it, it was really just a replacement. So if you wanted to add on to your lookup table, you could either add to it manually through the UI, but if you had a lot of data, you'd have to export that file, modify the file somehow, and then re-import it. Well, now with this feature, we now have the ability to append an existing lookup table. So if you really just want to add new value pairs to your lookup table, you can just add those. You don't need to have the complete set every time to load it. Of course, you still have the ability to export from your files. And append works really just like import. If it's empty, it's just like import. But if there's data in there, you can add to it as well. Okay? So that's cool. And, oh, right, the other thing I wanted to mention is with respect to the text connector. So if there are any Dropbox or OneDrive fans out there, you're going to appreciate this one. So if I go to my connection screen and I go to add a connection, if I choose the text connector or one of the text connectors, let's say text as a source, not only do I have local directory, FTP, SFTP, and so forth, but you'll notice we now have one Dropbox and OneDrive available with the full UI for creating those with the OAuth handshake that they require, are all now in the new HTML5 interface. Okay, so those are the things I wanted to cover today. Like I said, I know it's a lot to take in just a short time, but if you go to the blog, it's all spelled out there in detail. So that's probably your best reference to use. Okay, so back to my presentation here. Hopefully I'm going to drive this correctly. You guys can tell me if you're seeing the slides again.
Looks like it's going to
upload.
Back? Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just give it a moment while we get the slides back here. Unless I have to, I wonder if I have to close the screen sharing. Maybe I do. Try that. I'm not even seeing the slide on my screen yet, so I hope I didn't break it. All right, I'm just going to start talking about the next topic, and hopefully the slides will come back, because I'm going to do another demo, and hopefully this will all work. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about, and at Scribe we're all really excited about this, because I think it's going to make a big difference to our new users and the experience that they have, particularly when they start trials. So if you think about it today, if you fill out our trial request form, we create an org for you, we create a user for you, we add the trial subscriptions, and then we ask you to log in. Of course, we provide videos and all kinds of help, and for some people that works great. We receive really good feedback on that. But what a lot of cloud applications are doing these days is in-app guidance, where you don't even have to leave the application to learn how to use the products. And so we really wanted to adopt that. Now that we have HTML5, it's much easier to do that. And so we've had this on our list for a while. It's now possible. And right around the time of the Granite release, you'll start to see this as well, that we're going to be guiding trial users through the process and really teaching them how to learn the product. And I should say that the guides are not necessarily going to be limited to trials. We can use it for a lot of other things as well. But this is going to be one of the first applications to it. And we wanted to give you a quick preview of that too, because again, this is coming in just a few weeks, and we thought it'd be helpful if you had a preview and understood what it is we're looking at. I'm going to share my screen again. And you might have noticed this before, but in the lower right corner, there's a little circle with a question mark. And these are the guides. Now, we can make these pop up automatically when we see a new user or a new user in a trial. We don't necessarily have to train people to go and use the launcher in the lower right corner, but it's there so that if you went through a guide and then you sort of wanted a refresher, you could always go back and open that up. So let me switch to a different organization. I've set this organization up to look very similar to what a trial org is going to look like starting sometime next month. And as I was saying before, right now if you start a trial, you get a fairly blank canvas. No agent, no connections, no solutions. It's like you can go in and start working, which is great if you know what you're doing. But starting next month, we're going to be provisioning an agent. We're going to be adding some sample connectors, creating connections, and provisioning a solution. And the first guide that the trial user is going to go through will walk that person through the existing solution and the existing stuff that we've put in the organization. And we've tried to do it in a fun way that reflects our New Hampshire location. So let me just start the guide out for you, and you'll start to get a sense of it. So when the trial user logs in after setting everything, going through filling out the form and so forth, doing their email round trip, when the trial user logs in, we're going to put up a screen like this that says, hey, we've got an integration task for you that's going to orient you to our product. And we've got a fun scenario for you to keep you entertained, okay? So here's the story. You're a new marketing manager for Granite State Outfitters, a fictional outdoor products company. You're working on a campaign for a new product that Granite State just introduced for camping enthusiasts. And you want to include all of your customers who like camping in this marketing campaign. Granite State has a CRM system with customer data, a marketing automation system that manages email campaigns. You are going to use Scribe Online to find the customers who like camping and add them to the campaign. So kind of simple scenario, something that most people can understand because it's a B2C type scenario. And then I'm going to click Next, and it's really just going to walk me through all the steps that I need to do. So I click next, and it says the first thing you want to do is open the solution that this organization has already used for an earlier campaign. So I'm going to click on the name, Granite State Marketing. Next, I want to open the map because I'm going to open it so I can modify the campaign. So I'm going to click on the name of the map. It's going to take me into the map editor, and the first thing it wants me to do is change the name of the map. I'm going to select water sports and change it to camping. Click next. My little thing here to pull the screenshot in isn't working at the moment, but we'll get that fixed. It says open the query block. The first step in the map retrieves all the customers who like a certain outdoor activity. Right now it's set to find water sports fans, but it's going to tell me to change it to look for camping fans. So again, I'm going to change the name of the block label. And you'll notice that all these little steps are really teaching people how to use the different features of the map editor. Okay, change that to camping, click next. Okay, now I'm going to change the filter. So I'll click on the filter tab to change the block's behavior. And right now it's looking for a category of water sports. I'm going to change that to camping. Surprise, surprise. And click next. Now it's teaching me how to check for errors. So it says click the validate button, which I'll do. And then if it says 0 errors, 0 warnings, I'm good to go. I can click next. But if there is an error or a warning, it tells me I need to click up here and figure that out before I continue. All right, so no warnings. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK to close the properties window. Then it explains what the for each result block does. There's nothing to do on this step. It's just orienting you to explain what the map, how it works. Click next, and I'm going to change the add fan block. So I'm going to double click on that and click next. It's going to tell me to select the fields tab. And then I'm going to look for the field called campaign name. And I'm going to change paddleboard, which is what we were promoting before, to the new tent that we want to sell. Okay? And it reminds me that I should include the quotation marks. That's easy to forget. Again, check for errors. And I have 0 errors, 0 warnings, so I'll click next. And I'll click OK to close the properties window. Okay, so then finally it's going to check my map overall. If I did everything correctly, this should say 0 errors, 0 warnings, so I'll click next. And I can click OK to close the map editor and make those changes. All right, now it says, congratulations, you've successfully changed the map to work with the new campaign. Now let's try it out. So it's going to tell me to click the Run button to execute the solution containing the map. And it's going to point out the solution status in the upper right. It says, after I click Run, the indicator will change from on demand to starting, which it's done. And so I'll click Next, and it's going to point out that I'll start to see the progress in the execution history after it goes from starting to running. This only takes about a second to run, so by the time it starts running, it's already finished. You can see the new entry there in the execution history, so I'll click Next. And I mentioned earlier that these are really sample connectors. They're a derivative of our Excel connector, so it's not a real CRM system or a real marketing system behind it. It's really just an Excel file. And to make this easy for new users, we made it work on Cloud Agents, which means the user doesn't have any direct access to the Excel file because it's on the agent machine. So in order to see the results of the map, we're going to ask the user to create a new map and use a query block with a preview, again, learning new features as we walk through this scenario. Okay, so we're going to click the hamburger menu and say Create Integration Map. We need to add the marketing connection. Do that, and click OK. Then it tells me to drag the query block to the canvas in the middle of the screen, so we're learning how to do that. And I click Next, and it says choose the marketing campaign list entity from the drop-down list, which I'll do. Click Next, and then double-click the query block to open it. Now it's pointing out the Preview tab, where I can show the records for the marketing system. And now it says that the data in the marketing system will appear under Value in the column to the right. So it's loading the fields, but I've pointed out to the user what to look for over there. Now I can see the records are showing up, so I click Next. and it shows me that I can use the forward and back buttons to step through the records and see the records that I just put in. So gives the user some element of success within really just a few minutes of logging into the trial. And I think we're coming about to the end. So it says close the preview window, and then it tells me to click cancel to close the map editor without saving the map. And I'll click yes. And then this is the last screen. It says you've completed the exercise and now you're ready to start integrating your data with Scribe Online. And this is what we suggest you next. Go to the marketplace and add connectors. Also create your connections. And we're hoping that before we launch this next month, we'll have guides for each of those as well, because those are really necessary for anybody to get any meaningful work done. So the idea is that there'll be 2 more guides that jump off from this end of this guide. So once you've got the orientation, you can go to the marketplace, add your connectors, and then create your connections. And you're off to the races. All right, now I will try to return to the slide deck. Hopefully that's going to work this time, because I think I have one more slide that I wanted to talk about. I do. So hopefully you all see that in just a minute. In the past, I've often given you updates on adapters and connectors that are coming out. And I decided to do it a little bit differently this time, because with our new success community, you don't need me to do that anymore. Because we keep all that information up to date in the community. There's a page called Release Information, and there's a tile for it on the main page of the community. And you click on that, and you basically get all the announcements of all the new connector versions and new adapter versions that are out, including also versions of the core product as well. So I would encourage you to visit success.scribesoft.com, click on the Release Information tile, and I think you can even subscribe to it, so it'll send you an email whenever there's a new item on there. So that's a good way to keep up to date. You don't have to wait for this call. You can find out whenever you want what's new and what you can take advantage of. So I think that is all that I had today. And with that, I will turn it back to Jenaya.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Paul. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
We have a few good questions that are piling in, and so we will ask those at the end of the presentation. So thank you. As we go through some of this content, please feel free to keep sending us some more questions. So just to give you guys an update on the sales side, recertification. For 2017, it's that time of year again. It's time for our certified partners to get recertified on either Scribe Online or Scribe Insight. Our main goal is in implementing this recertification program is really to ensure that all of our partners are able to deliver a seamless experience with their client base. As we haven't necessarily had any significant improvements to Scribe Insight, we will now be offering our Scribe Online training and certification for free to those who are Insight certified and looking to get recertified. With the launch of Crystal in 2016 and the Granite release coming at the end of the month, there are a lot of really great changes in the product, improvements and enhancements that we want you, our partners, to really take advantage of. So just to clarify, we will be sending an email out to all certified consultants in the first week of April with instructions on how to get your free Scribe Online certification and really how to recertify with Scribe Insight if you've not already taken the Scribe Insight recertification exam. I'd also like to highlight some of the benefits of getting recertified by June 30th, but especially for Scribe Online. So if you're recertified by June 30th, you'll receive your entitlements for the entire calendar year of 2017. If you do not recertify by June 30th and you recertify sometime within Q3 or Q4 of 2017, you'll only receive your entitlements for Q3 and Q4, not the entire year. So don't leave that additional recertification entitlement on the table. Take advantage and recertify as soon as you can, okay? One of the other benefits is that you can also get listed on our website. We have removed all authorized partners from our website. So once you have one team member who is certified, we'd be happy to get your company listed on our Partner Finder listing on the website. Now, if you're already Scribe Online certified on the Classic mode, we do encourage you to take Scribe Online certification test that's based on Crystal. We've just released this a few weeks ago, and so we're developing Scribe Online Level 2 recertification. So hopefully on our next partner call, we'll have a timeline to discuss that with you closer to that time. Now, certification, how does some of the partner changes in the program affect me? Effective in 2017, we updated our Exhibit B in our partner program. We require at least one certified consultant per account. So having at least one certified consultant on staff allows you to be listed on the Partner Finder. It allows you to receive your biannual entitlements. And if you are a Scribe Insight partner, you'll receive unlimited partner support entitlements for that certified consultant. So this is extremely important. If you have Scribe Insight customers that need to be serviced or need access to our support group, it comes free with your one certified consultant. If you do not have a certified consultant on staff, you will have to pay for each Insight support incident. Okay? And just to reiterate, there are no additional charges for Scribe Online incidents. Now, the NFR, if you're looking to get an existing team member certified, or if you've hired a new consultant who needs certification, I really encourage you to reach out to your account manager to really provide you with the correct paperwork for approval. If you're not aware of who your correct manager is, I will be reviewing the territory map on the next slide, or you can email our sales@scribesoft.com email address, and one of our account managers will get back with you. Now, the NFR demo environment, we encourage all of our partners to use their NFR. With the launch of Crystal and Granite, we encourage you to use it. It's free. It comes with a partnership. If your company does not have an NFR, a not-for-resale license, please reach out to your account manager or email sales@scribesoft.com if you do not have your contact's information. And Scribe MVP recruitment. We're really excited about the new direction of our Scribe MVP program. Ryan O'Connell will be speaking shortly about the program, but I do encourage anyone who is interested in becoming a new Scribe MVP to reach out to me, and I will help you get started down that right path. Now, just to go over some of the changes within our territory. Last year in 2016, we had 3 territories in the U.S. We had West, Central, and East regions. Now we have a East region and also a West region. So we will send this to you after this presentation. It may be a little hard to read who your account manager is, but we do have some new territory assignments. In the East region, we have the regional sales manager is Doug Miller. The account executive is Karen Slater. And on the West region, the regional sales manager is Jim Beliveau, and the account executive is Rowdy Smith. So those are your primary contacts for SMB, enterprise, day-to-day functionality. And so they'll be at your beckoning call to help you with any issues, questions, demos, technical resources that you may need to assist you with some client demos. And upcoming events, part of the marketing drive this year. We've got a lot of great upcoming events that we're pushing. One of them is with Salesforce. It's called Southeast Dreaming. It's a community-based event in March. Looks like we're pretty heavy on Q2 in terms of some of the events we're hosting and sponsoring. Explogic's Elevate is one, aka Vision Conference on May 5th. MarTech, May 9th through 11th. Socius Aspire, May 16th. We are hosting a Salesforce World Tour, or sponsoring Salesforce World Tour, May 31st, and that's local here to Boston. And we'll also be at Microsoft Inspire in July. So we hope to see you all there if you are a Dynamics partner. And then, of course, Summit, which is going to be in the grand city of Nashville, which we're pretty excited about. Now, for any of our U.S. rest of world partners who are traveling to EMEA for any events, we will also be at some of those events this year. We'll be at CBIT in March, which is in a couple days, actually, March 20th. We'll be at Summit EMEA in April 4th. The Salesforce World Tour we are doing there is in London on May 18th. And then we will also be hosting Directions EMEA, October 4th through the 6th, and that's going to be in Madrid, Spain. So if you are not able to make it to any of the U.S. events, we do encourage you to visit our EMEA team at some of the EMEA events. And some of the upcoming webinars that we do have is March 23rd. That is next Wednesday at 12 p.m. It's called Accelerate Sales, Financial, and Service Processes by Integrating Dynamics 365 with Scribe. With a lot of the changes within the Microsoft ecosystem, we are focusing a lot of our webinar time and energy into really explaining and being thorough in explaining Dynamics 365 with Scribe and how it all relates. So that is next week, March 23rd at 12 p.m. It's going to be hosted by Mike Bates, who is our product manager, and also John Joseph, our VP of Marketing. And now I'm going to pass that torch over to Ryan O'Connell, who is our pre-sales technical lead. He's going to review the MVP program and give you guys some enlightenment on some of the changes.
Great. Thank you, Jenaya. So we have an existing, some of you on the call today are Scribe MVPs, and I think that's fantastic. And I know there's also a whole host of consultants on the line that are not MVPs with Scribe. But that's certainly something we want to change. So those of you that are MVPs, we want you to continue on the program. And with that said, we are making some changes to it. But also, this is sort of a welcome call to anyone else who would also like to become a Scribe MVP. So like with most things, it's difficult to talk about something unless you can actually define it. So we, with regards to 2017, moving into 2018, really trying to put some color around the program so it makes more sense to everybody when we talk about it, as well as be able to highlight a lot of the requirements, but benefits that go inside, that kind of coincide with that. So really, it's basically a Scribe certified consultant that has a lot of that expertise in our products, that understands how it augments and supplements you as a consultant with regards to your services that you provide, but also really be able to kind of be an expert and a leader in our platform to be able to emphasize how our services and our platform can extend into enterprises in a whole host of different integration scenarios. So we're really just going to highlight, and again, I'm listing these requirements. We did send a notification out to MVPs in advance of this call, so there may be a handful of you on there that may be seeing this for the first time, but the program really just kind of is going to have some minor changes to it as far as I'm concerned, but we're going to have a meeting later on this month rather, to highlight those details. So if you are interested in becoming an MVP, that's something you can reach out to Jenaya on. So I'm going to highlight very quickly the requirements, and certainly if people have questions, we can follow up, whether we have time during this call or we can follow up via email. So we are looking for certification in our Scribe Online platform, level 2, so level 1 and level 2 certification. It's really the direction the market's going in. It's really a demand that customers are asking. They want a platform that really that they can develop off of, but that doesn't require them to install some physical footprint of it on premise. So that's really sort of the movement forward. We still have a great deal of appreciation for the MVPs that are Insight certified, and we're still going to maintain that certification track. And anyone who is Insight certified is grandfathered into the program going through 2017. But really going into 2018, we're looking for partners to expand beyond Insight and really focus on getting certified in addition to with Scribe Online. We also want to see that an MVP really has had success implementing the solution, preferably 2 projects per year, so it really kind of shows and reflects in the community that this is something you do work with on a regular basis. We're really looking to invite you to participate in a number of MVP summits. We're going to be doing 1 live summit in Chicago. We're still sorting out a date for that. But there's also going to be a whole host of virtual summits. And we'll get that started in 2017. But moving into 2018, we'll have 1 every quarter. And the goal is that still we'll maintain an in-person summit as well. So a grand total of 5 summits moving into 2018. And basically, as part of that, we kind of want to get to know you. Obviously, there's a lot of existing MVPs, but moving in and becoming new to the program, we're looking to interview you and understand, what your business is, what value we can provide you, and in addition to sharing with you what sort of value you can bring to us, and really have it sort of a partnership, because that's really the key behind the program, is to see how we can help you with your services and your business. At the same time, how you can help us drive, changes in our solution, as well as be able to provide a better product for you in general. And that interview is going to be a very traditional thing. It's something we want to be able to just kind of get a feel for how you present our solution, and really just kind of understand how you sort of work with our solution and kind of present it out into the community with your customers. And lastly, we are developing a Scribe community. So we've had sort of LinkedIn groups in the past. We've also worked with Open Mind forums, and we're really trying to narrow it down to something that's really going to meet the needs for everybody. So we are developing a Scribe community that we will have for MVPs, and the whole idea is to look for you to participate in that, whether it's answering questions for other MVPs or asking questions yourself. So the idea is to participate in that, so that way, as an MVP, you're sort of front lines to a lot of the new questions and a lot of the new challenges out there, which could help you with your business, but also could help the MVP community as well. So that's just the highlights. That's really a lot of the detail I'm going to reserve for those that are interested, that want to reach out and get more information on the program and maybe want to get on the MVP track. And we certainly can sit down and have a more expansive conversation. And just a reminder for those of you that are MVPs and are Insight certified, you are grandfathered in for 2017. So we're really treating 2017 as sort of our rebuilding of the program. So we really want everyone to stay in the program, and we certainly want to invite new members in as well. So please, if you have any interest, reach out to Jenaya. She's dying to hear from you, and we'll certainly be in touch. And I don't know if we want to field some questions now, or for the sake of time, maybe we should move on. You know what? I'm getting a lot of stink eyes here, so I'm gonna say we'll reserve questions to the end. And I am now going to hand off to Lynn Harrington to talk us through the ISV partner updates.
Great. Thanks, Ryan, and thanks, Jenaya, for inviting me. It's been a while since I've spoken to our partner channel about the ISV, or what we oftentimes now call the SaaS provider business. But did want to do that, bring you all up to speed on sort of who are the really exciting SaaS providers that we're working with nowadays, and do that in a way that really, at the end, I'm going to tie it into what we see are very exciting opportunities for those of you on the phone. So just to give folks a little bit of a refresher, there's 3 different ways really that we work specifically with ISVs. There are, of course, approved and certified partner programs that they each have, and we certainly will join those. Both Microsoft and Salesforce are examples of those. We're ISV partners in both of those ecosystems. We have actually a new product going up on the App Exchange at the end of this month, and we have an offering that will be going up on the app. Oh my gosh, I just forgot that. The Microsoft, it's app something or other.
AppSource?
AppSource, thank you. All of these different names. But that'll be going up probably later towards the end of April. So that's an example of one way that we work with ISV providers. We also then will partner with some. We may join a program like that, and then we become their preferred integration partner. An example of that is with HubSpot, where their pre-sales team has Scribe demo environments, they're trained on Scribe, and we're their go-to partner when their customers have integration needs. And then the third way, and one of what is becoming one of the most common ways that SaaS providers partner with us is through our embed, or think of it as an OEM program. And we have actually the majority of the ISVs that we work with, and I put their logos up here, are folks that actually embed. So that was what I mean by that is that they offer integration with their product and some other, maybe CRM, marketing, some other application, and they package that and they offer it they may charge for it, they may offer it free of charge, but it's completely packaged, and their customer may or may not even know that Scribe is in the mix. Couple of examples there is the meeting application that we're using today, On24. On24 is a big partner of ours, so they offer integration to customers' CRM and or their marketing automation system, so that their webinar registrations and attendees are all tied in to those two systems. In the marketing automation space, we've got IBM, that's a great example of somebody who packages up their integration, and their customers, again, work within either the Dynamics CRM API, they might work within the Silverpop Engage API, and there's integration going on behind the scenes, but the customer doesn't necessarily know Scribe is even in the mix. So I've listed a number of examples here, and I wanted to bring you all up to speed. You may or may not know that we're working with these ISVs. And as I mentioned, there are several opportunities that we're seeing that are growing out of this part of our business. At a minimum, a lot of times these partners of ours, when they start to build and they launch a new integration offering, they are first going after new business. So they may or may not go into their existing customer base to implement this integration until their customers maybe raise their hand. So I tell you this because you may very well be working with a customer that has one of these applications, and they are implementing a new CRM or ERP system and would like to maybe take advantage of integration. And this way you know that there's connectivity available, you know that that partner is a Scribe partner, and it's a great opportunity for you to add value to your customer to say, hey, you can get this integration through this vendor. It's one situation. In many cases, these vendors build a very packaged integration. And they do this because they sort of need to do it in order to get the sale, right? They're talking to prospects, and their prospects say, hey, I need to have this marketing automation system or this meeting application like an On24. I need to have it integrated to my CRM system. And so they'll build a packaged integration. But they really don't want to become integration experts with other applications, right? They just want to do enough that the customer has added value using their application. Many of these ISVs are talking to us all the time about their customers that want to extend the integration and how can that happen. Now, there's a few of them that do have their own professional services team, but in general, like I said, they don't want to start to take on integration to other applications. We see this as a great opportunity for our Scribe partner channel, and we do get these questions on a regular basis. Is there a partner you could recommend, Scribe, that could finish off or expand this integration for this customer? Again, you may have customers that are already working with some of these partners. They have these integrations in place, but they would love to expand it. It's a great opportunity for you as a Scribe expert to be able to take on that role. The third opportunity that we're starting to see, and this is what I think is really exciting for our partner channel, our reselling and implementation partner channel, is that some of these SaaS providers really don't want to have anything to do with integration. They know they have to have an answer. Their prospects are asking for it, But I think a great example is what Coupa and Armanino are doing. Coupa is an example. They did not want to offer integration or implement integration. They just don't have the staff on hand that can really invest the time or have necessarily the domain expertise. So they partnered with Armanino. Armanino has built several packaged integrations to products like Dynamics GP, Intact, Dynamics AX, and Coupa sends any customer that needs integration to Armanino. So it's a great lead source for them. Armanino sells that integration package and then, of course, gets any add-on services available around that integration. So I'm mentioning this. As I said, we are getting ISVs that are coming to us asking for partners who would like to play this role. So we always want to make sure that we know if there are people who are interested in this. But I also wanted to put the word out that many of you may be working with an ISV right now. You may be partnering with them. You may have a strong relationship with them. And it would be a great opportunity for you to partner with them maybe in this capacity. And we would love to speak with you and share with you how others are doing it. And so if you are interested in this and learning more about it, please send an email into isv@scribesoft.com. And we have a team here that's working, supporting these partners, and we'll be happy to get back to you and just share some information on how this might be an opportunity for your organization.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you so much, Lynn. I really appreciate it. So we have about 9 minutes left. We have a good handful of questions that we're going through. So I did want to just go through and ask, let's see. Okay, so the first question is, does renaming the block automatically update all formulas using the old name to the new name?
Yeah, that's a great question, and the answer is yes. I should have mentioned that when I was showing it to you.
Okay.
It would be kind of silly if we made you go find all the formulas that were affected, but yes, we do go ahead and update those for you.
Perfect. The next question, is the classic UI going away?
It is, yes. That's what I was getting at. With the release of Granite, you'll no longer be able to log into the classic UI. If you bookmark that URL, you go to it, we will redirect you back to app.scribesoft.com and go from there.
Awesome. This is from James. Can you tell me a couple of features that are brand new with Granite that have not been available in Classic?
Yeah, the first two that come to mind, one of which I showed you in the demo, which was appending to a lookup table before you had to just recreate it every time, if you will. And another is one that I didn't mention, but I showed you the preview on Fetch, which is in the Classic UI. But there's another feature that we added to Fetch that I didn't show, which is you now have the ability to sort in the order that you want Fetch records to come back, which is a totally new feature that doesn't exist in Classic.
Awesome. Need to get certified on both or just one? For certification, you just need to get certified on one or the other. For recertification, if you are Insight certified, we would suggest getting certified on Scribe Online because that's the platform that we're really starting to build out and make a lot more robust for you guys and for our customers. Yay, kudos for free certifications. It's actually recertification. So, Donna, if you are not certified, it is not free. Is there a way to prevent users from getting email messages from failures from Scribe Online?
Yes, if you go to the My Account menu at the upper right, you'll see something called notifications there, and there are checkboxes for all kinds of different events that you might want to get notifications for and for each org that you belong to. So through that menu, you have control over when you get emails and when you don't.
Okay.
But you'd have to ask your customer to do it if you're a partner, correct?
Yes, you can't do it for somebody else.
Right.
That's true.
Okay. From Lance, during the demo earlier, was it shown or confirmed that when multiple records fail within a solution run, they can be exported to CSV, like the classic Scribe Online?
I didn't show that, but you are correct, Lance. That feature is there. I just have the example that I showed was a it didn't even process any records, so I didn't have anything to export. But yes, you can export that data to CSV. And there's even an option for exporting JSON as well. That's also another new feature in Granite.
Oh, great. Okay, excellent. So this is from Sharon. Does a reseller console exist for helping us track active, non-active customers, the types of maps they are using, basic, advanced, the other types of agents and connectors they are using, etc.? We have a hard time tracking these customers to notify them of changes related to how they use Scribe Online.
I would say there's not a unified console for that, but the two places that I would go to get that information, number one would be the View All Organizations screen that I showed at the beginning of the demo. That will give you a top-level view of all of your customers. If it's a parent-child situation, you'll see all the child orgs there, and there'll be a sort of one-line status indication of each one. So if there are agents down, or if there's solution that's incomplete or anything like that, you're going to see that top-level view, and you can drill into that organization. As far as whether orgs are processing usage, we did bring the usage statistics that are in the classic UI for child orgs into Granite. So you have that capability to look at historical usage by org, both as a table that you can export as well as a graph. And for some of these other things, you'd have to really look into each individual org to see the types of maps they're using and things like that. I should point out, though, since you mentioned basic maps, that the new UI doesn't really have the concept of a basic map anymore. Maps that you created as basic in the classic UI will run just fine in the platform. Of course, they've been doing that all along. But as soon as you go to edit one, it will convert it to what we used to call an advanced map, what we now just call a map, because there's only one kind of map in the new UI.
Okay. Excellent. From Jeremy. How do we contact Jenaya? Oh, hi, Jeremy. So my email address is jenaya, Jenaya.Devan. It's Devan @scribesoft.com. So I encourage anyone who is interested in the MVP program to reach out to me by email. My direct line is 603-488-6540. Okay, looks like there was one more. Unfortunately, I joined late, and I was wondering if you can share the deck. Yes, we can absolutely share that deck with you. We will be sending out the recorded version of this at the end of the probably within a day or so, and then we can also push the slide deck to you now, I believe, correct? Okay, perfect. Yes, so we can get you a copy of that slide deck for sure. Do we have any other questions? We have a couple minutes left. Anyone else? All right. Well, thank you all for attending. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Paul, Lynn, and Ryan. Your content was very valuable. I hope you all found this pretty helpful to, the new UI and really kind of pushing through it and how we're doing and you are doing as well. And with that, I will say thank you so much and have a great day. Have a good afternoon, everyone.